The first week after I walked away, nothing happened. No calls, no messages, no dramatic apology or angry confrontation. And that silence told me everything. She had chosen comfort over uncertainty, familiarity over effort. I wasn't surprised, but I was still human. Every night, I replayed the moment I left. Her eyes followed me, but her feet didn't. That image stayed with me longer than it should have. For her, life seemed perfect on the surface. She was seen again with her ex, dinners at expensive places, photos that looked carefully unplanned. Mutual friends mentioned them casually, as if it was always meant to be this way. I nodded, smiled, and never explained myself. Walking away had taught me one thing: silence is louder than arguments. But what people didn't see was her unease. She began checking her phone more often, not for messages from him, but for the one that never came from me. She told herself I was fine, that I'd move on quickly, that I wasn't as serious as I claimed. Yet something felt off. I didn't post. I didn't react. I didn't disappear. I simply stopped orbiting her life. And that unsettled her more than anger ever could. Meanwhile, my life grew quieter, but clearer. I focused on work, on rebuilding routines I'd neglected. I stopped waiting for notifications. For the first time in months, my days felt like they belonged to me again. That's when she broke the silence. Not directly, indirectly. She liked an old photo of mine, one buried deep in my profile. A mistake? Maybe. Or maybe it was deliberate. A test. A signal. I saw it, stared at it for a moment, and did nothing. No reaction. That was the moment her curiosity turned into discomfort. Why wasn't I chasing? Why wasn't I angry? Why wasn't I trying to win her back? She told herself it didn't matter, that she had made the right choice. But late at night, when her ex fell asleep beside her, she stared at the ceiling and wondered why peace felt heavier than heartbreak. She hadn't lost me yet, but she could feel it happening. And for the first time since her ex returned, she was afraid, not of being alone, but of realizing too late that the man she let walk away was the one who would never come back the same.
Silence has a strange way of speaking. At first, she believed it was temporary. A pause. A cooling off period. That was what she told herself every morning when she woke up and reached for her phone, only to find no message from him. No missed calls. No quiet check-in. Nothing. She had been so sure he would come back. He always had. But days turned into weeks, and the silence didn't crack. It hardened. The comfort that felt wrong her ex, Armin, was everything she once thought she wanted. Successful. Confident. Financially secure. He drove a luxury car, wore expensive watches, and spoke about future investments and overseas trips as if the world were already his. From the outside, it looked like she had upgraded her life. Yet every night, when she sat across from him at candlelit dinners or lay beside him in his large, quiet apartment, something felt deeply wrong. He talked. She listened. But he never noticed. Never noticed the way her smile faded faster than before. Never noticed how her laughter sounded practiced. Never noticed how often her eyes drifted to nothing. Armin touched her with familiarity, not care. His affection felt claimed, not chosen. And in those moments, without warning, his face appeared in her mind. The man she had left behind. The man who stopped asking she remembered how he used to look at her when she entered a room, as if her presence alone mattered. He used to ask her questions, real ones. How was your day? Did you eat? Are you okay? And when she pulled away, distracted by her ex's sudden return, he didn't shout. He didn't beg. He simply watched. And one day, he walked away. At the time, she had felt relieved. No drama, she had thought. He understands. Now she realized the truth. He didn't understand. He accepted. And acceptance hurt more than anger ever could. The first message, it happened late at night. Armin was asleep beside her, his breathing steady, his arm heavy across her waist. She stared at the ceiling, the darkness pressing against her chest. Her phone lay face down on the bedside table. She told herself she wouldn't touch it. Then she did. Her fingers moved on instinct, opening her contacts. Scrolling. Stopping. His name. She stared at it for a long time. The last message between them was weeks old. Take care. That was it. No blame. No accusation. No guilt. Her throat tightened. She typed, "Hey." She stared at the word for a full minute, then erased it. Typed again. "I was just thinking about you." Erase. Her hands trembled slightly. Finally, she sent, "Hope you're doing okay." The message left her phone quietly. Too quietly. She waited. 5 minutes. 10. Nothing. His new comp, he saw the message while making coffee the next morning. The sunlight streamed through his apartment window, warm and golden. His life had changed since he left her, not dramatically, not loudly, but steadily. He slept better. He worked harder. He laughed more easily. The ache was still there, but it no longer controlled him. When his phone buzzed, he glanced at the screen. Her name. For a brief moment, the past stirred. Then he locked the phone and set it aside. No reply. No hesitation. Not because he wanted revenge. Because he had learned something important in her absence. Peace doesn't argue. The panic begins hours past. She checked her phone between conversations, between bites of food, between heartbeats. Nothing. That evening, Armin noticed her distraction. "You okay?" he asked casually. She nodded too quickly. Just tired. But inside, something ugly was forming. Fear. Not fear of losing Armin. Fear of losing him forever. For the first time, she imagined a future where he no longer existed in her world. No messages. No accidental meetings. No second chances. And the thought terrified her. Comparing what she lost, Armin talked about buying property. She thought about how he once talked about building a simple life together. Armin planned vacations. She remembered quiet evenings where nothing special happened, yet everything felt safe. Armin boasted. He had listened. That night, she realized something she hadn't allowed herself to admit. She hadn't left him because she loved her ex more. She left because familiarity scared her and uncertainty excited her. And now, the excitement had turned hollow. The second attempt 2 days later, she tried again. This time, she was more direct. "I miss talking to you." She stared at the screen after sending it, her chest tight, breath shallow. Minutes passed. Then hours. No response. Her confidence, once so natural, began to crack. Had she waited too long? When chasing replaces choice, she started finding excuses to be where he might be. The cafe near his office. The street he used to walk. Mutual friend stories. But he never appeared. It was as if he had vanished from her reach while still existing in the world. And that made it worse. Because now, she wasn't choosing between two men. She was chasing the one who no longer chased her. His growth, her regret meanwhile, he was changing. Not to impress anyone, but because he had room to breathe. He dressed better, not flashier, just cleaner. He stood straighter. His voice carried calm authority. People noticed, especially women. And for the first time, he noticed that he didn't need validation to feel whole. The moment she realized the power shift, the breaking point came unexpectedly. She ran into him at a mutual friends gathering. Their eyes met across the room. Her heart slammed against her ribs. He smiled, not warmly, not coldly, politely, like someone greeting a chapter they had already finished reading. They spoke briefly, about nothing important. And when he excused himself, she watched him walk away without looking back. That was when it hit her. She wasn't the one being chosen anymore. The chase truly begins that night. She sat alone. Armin had gone out with friends. She hadn't joined. She opened her phone and typed one final message. "I made a mistake." She didn't send it. Not yet. Because deep down, she knew something had changed. This time, it wouldn't be enough to admit regret. This time, she would have to prove it.
The first time she showed up at his door, it was raining. Not the dramatic kind that movies love. No thunder, no lightning, but the quiet, soaking rain that made everything feel heavier than it should. The kind that crept into clothes, into hair, into thoughts. He didn't open the door right away. He stood on the other side, listening. The knock was soft, careful, as if she was afraid the door itself might reject her. For a moment, he thought about pretending he wasn't home. Not because he was angry anymore, but because he wasn't sure what opening that door would take from him. When he finally opened it, she looked smaller than he remembered. Her hair was damp, clinging to her face. Her makeup, once always perfect, was slightly smudged, her eyes red, not from rain alone. She wasn't dressed for attention. No elegance. No confidence. Just a simple coat, wrinkled from sitting too long somewhere, waiting. She looked at him the way people look at something they already lost. "Hi," she said. He didn't answer immediately. Behind him, his apartment was calm, clean, quiet. It looked like a place where someone had learned how to live alone, and learned well. "You shouldn't be here," he said finally. His voice wasn't cold. That hurt more. "I know," she whispered, "but I didn't know where else to go." He stepped aside, not as an invitation, just enough to let the rain stop touching her. Inside, silence filled the space between them. She stood near the door, arms crossed, unsure whether to sit, unsure whether she deserved to. He poured himself water, not offering her anything, not out of cruelty, but because he knew how easily kindness could reopen wounds. "I heard you left him," he said, not looking at her. She nodded. 2 weeks ago. And she swallowed. And it didn't change anything. That made him turn. She met his eyes, and for the first time since he'd known her, she didn't try to be strong. "I thought going back to him would make me feel safe," she said. "Familiar, certain, but all it did was make me feel empty." He leaned against the counter, calm, grounded. "And you came here because?" he asked. "Because you were the only place that ever felt like home," she said. The words landed softly, but they landed late. She talked for a long time, about how her ex had returned suddenly, confident, nostalgic, promising stability, about how doubt had crept in when life with him became difficult, about how she'd convinced herself that love should be easy, not demanding. "I didn't leave you because I stopped loving you," she said, tears finally falling. "I left because I was scared." He listened. That was the difference now. Before, he would have interrupted, tried to explain, tried to fix things. Now he just listened. "When you walked away," she continued, "I expected you to fight, to chase me, to prove I mattered." Her voice broke. "But you didn't." "No," he said quietly. "I didn't." She nodded. "That's when I realized I'd made a mistake." She looked up at him then, really looked. He wasn't the same man she had left. Not because he was richer, or more successful, or more confident, though all of those were true. He was calmer, like someone who had accepted loss and survived it. "I chose you," she said. "I'm choosing you now." He didn't respond immediately. Outside, the rain slowed. "You're choosing me," he repeated, slowly. "Or you're choosing not to be alone?" Her mouth opened, but no words came. That was answer enough. Days passed after that night. She didn't stay. He didn't ask her to. Instead, she tried, really tried, to be present, to show up, to call without expectations, to apologize without excuses. And he watched, not to judge, but to understand. One evening, they walked together through the city. No holding hands, no promises, just two people moving at the same pace. "I know I don't deserve a second chance," she said, "but I need to know, is there any part of you that still wants us?" He stopped walking. She held her breath. "I loved you deeply," he said, "enough to break myself trying to keep you." She nodded, tears forming again. "But I won't love someone who only chooses me after realizing what they lost." Her shoulders fell, not in anger, but in understanding. "I don't want to be your regret," he continued. "I want to be someone's first choice. Every time." The final conversation happened weeks later. She came to him one last time, not desperate, not chasing, just honest. "I'm not asking you to come back," she said. "I just wanted to thank you." "For what?" "For walking away," she said. "If you hadn't, I would have never seen myself clearly." He smiled, a real one. They hugged. Long quiet. Final. And when she walked away this time, she didn't look back. Neither did he. Months later, he met someone new. Not dramatic. Not intense. Just steady. Someone who didn't test love. Someone who didn't leave to be chased. Someone who chose him without hesitation. And sometimes, rarely, he thought of her. Not with anger. Not with longing. Just acceptance. She had chosen him. But only after he chose himself. And that made all the difference.